All right, we want to talk about absolute value. So, what does the absolute value mean? Now, when you're first taught this, it's usually you are taught to talk about a washing machine. And we say, hey, when you put in clean clothes into a washing machine, they still come out clean. When you put in dirty clothes, they come out clean. Same way when we deal with the absolute value of a number, whether it's -3 or +3, they're both going to come out to give you a positive answer. No matter what you put in that absolute value, it comes out a positive number. Now, what it really means is if we're saying the absolute value of something, the absolute value of something is, let's say 3. What we're meaning by absolute value is how far away from this zero, how far away. So if I want to know that if I say the absolute value of X is 3, what am I meaning? What I mean is I need to be 3 away from 0. I need to be 3 away from 0. That means you could be here or you could be here. And that's why we say, hey, the absolute value of -3 is 3 and the absolute value of 3 is 3. It's because you are 3 away from 0. We don't know whether you're going that direction or that direction. Either way, you're 3 away from 0. That's what absolute value is sort of talking about. So as here, consider the absolute value of X is 4. And again, right now, I'm just trying to get your mind thinking about absolute value. Then we'll get into the problems we're going to be doing. But what is X? Well, literally what it's saying is, hey, we want to be 4 away from our 0. Well, 4 away would be either here or there. So the answers for that X could be a -4 or it could be a +4. And you know that. If I said, hey, absolute value of X equals 4, what is X? X could be 4 or X could be -4. Now, let's use the same reasoning. It says, consider the absolute value of X is greater than or equal to 2. So we're talking, hey, we're here. We want to be, in this case, we know 2 away is here and here. But it wants to make sure you're more than 2 away. You're 2 or more away. Well, that would basically be, 3 would work. Basically, everybody going that way and everybody going that direction, wouldn't it be? Every piece from basically here that way or from here that way would be 2 away from 0. They'd be 2 or more. And that's what it says. Hey, I want it more, greater than 2 feet away. And that's what we would have here. Again, trying to make you sort of see this. What if it says consider the absolute value is less than 2? So again, here 0 is. We know 2's here and here. We want to be less than 2 feet away. We want to be closer to the 0. So that would be everybody in here, wouldn't it? Sort of from here to here. That's what it's actually meaning, right? Hopefully that makes some sense to you. We now need to consider sort of the types of problems that we're getting into. Consider the absolute value of the quantity X plus 4 less than or equal to 6. Now, we're going to look at how to do this, but here's what it's saying number line wise. What it's saying number line wise here, how far away from 0? We want, here's 6, -6. Here's +6, okay? And we want it less than. So we sort of want to be less than. We want the answer to be smaller than 6. So we want it sort of to be in here like the last one, don't we? But the problem is you're adding 4 to it. Now, when we add 4 to our X, that means you're going to the right. If I add 4 to any number, it goes to the right, correct? So basically, I know the answer to this if I think it through. If I want to find an X, well, if you're here at -10 and you add 4, you're going to be in that spot, aren't you? So pretty much -10 would be the furthest out. Now, if we add 4, we're going to be going that way. So I got to land within this range of 6. That would put you at what? 2. So I know this solution to this problem is that right there. Anything between -10 and 2 will put us within that range of being 6 away. Now, that's a little difficult. That's not the way we're going to address this, but that's what the thought is, if that thought makes sense to you. If it doesn't, don't worry. let's look at how we're going to approach this. Now, we have absolute value of x plus 4. So we are going to have two equations. We're going to break it up into the positive side and the negative. So step one, I'm going to say the positive, simply what it is, the positive value of x plus 4. Then there would also be the opposite, the negative piece, because the absolute value of the negative piece is going to be equal to that, okay, and less than 6. So all I do is I have the positive part here and the negative part there. Now, we are going to play off the words, and you've done this before. That's a less than. That tells us this is going to be an and situation. I need the left part and the right part to be true, and we'll see what happens. So all I do now is I solve this. I subtract 4, x is less than or equal to 2. There's one solution. I do this. Now, at this point, we're going to always get rid of this negative in front, which is -1. How are we going to get rid of it every time? We just divide by -1. That will give us our x plus 4. When we divide by negative, my inequality is going to flip, and I'll get a -6 here. And that's always going to happen. We're always going to divide by -1 right there. It's always going to flip our sign, and it's going to change our value over here always to a negative. A lot of teachers have you just jump right to that stage. But again, they tell you to do that with no explanation of why. That is why we're doing it. And I want you to write that step there. Don't skip it. I now solve. I subtract 4. X is greater than or equal to -10. So I'm looking for an x less than or equal to 2. And at the same time, it's got to be bigger than -10. If we think of the number line, what that is here's -10. Here's my 2. I need the x to be smaller than 2, so going this direction, but yet it's got to stay, here's the 10, it's got to stay bigger than 10. So what happens is it's all these numbers in here, just like I had said when we started the problem. With an and, we do need to write it as one simple expression. The expression or the inequality bit is going to be, hey, -10 less than or equal to x, less than or equal to 2. The x's are basically between -10 and 2. That's where they are. We do every single problem this way, right? Every single problem like that. The next one, it's the exact same type thing. We simply say, okay, the positive greater than or equal to 6, the negative piece of it greater than or equal to 6. Now, this is a greater. So this is going to be an or situation. What's going to happen graph-wise? It's going to be points going that direction and that direction. Unlike the last one where it's the points in between them. See, last one, it's the points in between them. When we have a greater, it's going to be an or situation, and it's going to look like that. So solving this, subtract 4, x is greater than or equal to 2. Over here, every single time we'll start off by dividing by -1. That'll give us back our x plus 4. It'll flip the inequality every single time. It'll make that number negative every single time. Subtract 4. Now, we have somewhat the same numbers as we did last time, but this is an or. So if you think, and technically that's the answer. We say, that's what you would write on the page for me. You'd say x is greater than or 2 or x is less than or equal to 10. Because if you think what that graph is, here's my 2. I'm looking for x is bigger than 2 or equal to it. So it's all those guys. And the other is or x can be less than -10. Well, less than -10 are -11, go in that direction. So an or, that's just the way you write it. You write it with an or in there. That's how we're going to write it. Okay. Now, we need to remember greater is an or statement. Less than is an and statement. And statements are always going to have it between the 2 points. Ors with greater than is always going to be going that way, and then a point here going that way because you're trying to get further away from it, further away from that 0. Now, we do have one special situation that we have to use our brain to think about. Let's say we have this, and let's say I say, oh, you're greater than -4. Well, let me ask you this. If I said the absolute value of x is equal to -4, can the absolute value ever come out to equal -4? No matter what, it's going to come out positive no matter what you do. So we got to be very careful. This right here tells me this is a special situation where either everybody's going to work or nobody's going to work. And if you use your brain here, we know that this answer is going to come out to be a positive number no matter what. How often is a positive number going to be bigger than -4? How often is that going to happen? Always. So no matter what you plug in the x, you're going to get a positive something, +7, +10, +100. That will always stay bigger than that -4. So in this case, x is all real numbers. Everybody is going to work. Okay, this is, again, a special situation when you have a negative number there. You've got to pay attention to what number's there, because every once in a while, I'll slide the negative number in there and you start trying to work it like normal. Doesn't work. You got to pay attention. The other situation you'll notice is if we had it with a greater, what if I'd said, hey, the absolute value of x, doesn't matter, +2 is less than -42. Well, I know, again, this absolute value will always come out to be a positive number. How often is a positive number smaller than -42? Is a positive number ever smaller than a negative? No, this never happens. So in this case, no matter what you plug into x, it's never going to work. Never going to work. And again, special situation when the number over here, when you have an absolute value and you have it being less than or greater than a negative, you have to pay attention and think it through because it's a special case. Hope all that makes sense to you.